Okay, folks. Well, it is that time, and as you can see, we've got our crazy hat. I grew some hair, so that was fun, and glasses night. We're gonna get a quick shot of the group here in a minute, but I wanted to introduce the fun shop tonight. It is week number 4. We got after this week. We got 2 weeks left. We're going to be covering chapters 7 and 8 tonight of Dr. A's Stop, Challenge, Choose ebook. And so, as usual, we've got a game show that we're going to go over some questions. We have 2 speakers that are going to talk about the chapters, and then we're going to have a group discussion starting at the top of the hour. But I wanted to take a minute here and introduce my counterpart. If you guys have noticed the CRAVE Optimal Health, that's a combination of Craig and Dave. That's how we work. So I want to introduce Mr. David Bush. You got some things for us tonight?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit perturbed. We didn't call it the DAG Healthy Holidays, but we're DAG Optimal Health. But, whatever. Yeah. I'm excited everybody's here. And, man, I tell you what, I've been looking forward to this 4th session because from our success in doing these fun shops is that we've actually been ranked on the Forbes top 10. I think it was the Forbes, Martin Forbes top 10 show today, wasn't it, Craig?
I believe it was, yep. We rank really high on his list every week. So, and actually, speaking of Martin Forbes, he's going to be one of our speakers today. So,
yeah, Martin's going to be talking about the Desk-Bound Lifestyle, chapter number 7 in Dr. A's Habits of Health book. If you have not had a chance to download Dr. A's Habits of Health book, and you're just coming in and you're like, "What? There's been 4, and there's been 3 other ones of these." Don't worry. Hey, it's great that you're here. There's lots of recordings, but each individual session can stand on its own. And today we're going to be talking about some really fun activities that you can do to basically just be out and about during the holidays, getting in some more motion, and then becoming friends with your bed again. And that's chapter 8. And Mr. Todd Nicholson will be talking a little bit more about that. And each one of those speakers will get a chance to share a little bit more about how they're integrating these habits into their life and their personal success story with discovering optimal health.
Yep. Excellent. So thanks, Dave, for that. One of the things I want you guys to be conscious of is grab a piece of paper and a pencil if you can. And when we're going through things, or when you hear certain comments or questions, or even when our 2 speakers are going to be talking tonight, jot down a question or 2 that you might have, so that when it comes time for the discussion afterwards, we have some conversation topics to go over, and you'll have something to possibly ask a question. And so if you want to, I'm going to get the PowerPoint or the game show, loaded up, and you want to give folks the instructions on how to play.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to show a little PowerPoint presentation. We're going to have 3 to 4 questions on each individual chapter. They're going to be multiple choice questions. Most of the questions have pretty obvious answers, but if you haven't had a chance to read the Habits of Health or the Discovery Optimal Health ebook, you may be a little bit slow on the clicker to put your answer in. And what we're going to do is we're going to have each one of the questions will be numbered, and then they'll have an answer A, B, or C in multiple choice. And you'll see in your bar on my screen, it's at the bottom. In the screen share mode, there's a bar that actually has a little chat button in there. And that, if you click on that chat button, you can put in your number, which is the question number, so 1, 2, or 3, and then your answer, which is A, B, or C. So if you want to go ahead and just type in Happy Holidays in the group chat, everybody will get a chance to see. Make sure that it's going to all, and it's not a private message to somebody. But put in a fun little holiday greeting to all of your buddies here on the CRAVE Optimal Health series, and we'll get started.
You might even click in there the state that you're from, just the 2-letter abbreviation from where you're from, so we can kind of get a little look-see as far as where we're from. Excellent. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's great. And the other thing, too, that you might consider is when the screen is in Brady Bunch view or speaker view, it'll be down at the bottom, really easy to find. On an iPad or an iPhone, you can click the screen and go up to participants and then chat all. And then you will be ready to rock with a mobile device. And so without further ado, I'm going to jump into the presentation, so we'll get going.
Yeah, and just as we're going through tonight, we want it to be a fun shop where you're learning lots of things and have a lot of fun doing it. But, one of the quotes that I've been quoting quite often to our coaching clients this week and our coaches is, let your learning not become knowledge and end there. Let your learning become knowledge and then have that knowledge lead to action. And if you'll take some of these ideas, just one or two of them, and put them into action this holiday season, we're confident you're going to get a lot more out of the workshop.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's great. All right. So moving on into chapter number 7. Let's see here. So we got a little bit of game show music because, that's the way we roll, right? All right. So the first question for everybody tonight is a good practice for using one of the 6 S's of success is always use the modern conveniences when possible. Is it B, never pass up a chance to dance the rhythm of the beat? Or is it C, sit and relax while watching TV?
Wow. Can Todd Nicholson jump in and answer one of these first questions, even though he's a speaker? I say yes. What say you, Craig?
Well, he didn't come up with these questions. His chapter was the next chapter, so I'd say green light.
I don't know these answers.
All right. So, Todd, you get the opportunity to yell your answer out and be loud and proud if it's right. So what do you got?
I would say B.
Is it B? Survey said yes, B is correct. So Todd Nicholson gets 1 point for this evening's game show. Excellent.
Let me guess, points don't matter, do they?
Well, they matter to some, but it depends on what you mean by that.
Craig, this is the first session that Todd's actually been present. So I think that he probably needs to be educated that he actually has to act out the answer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So can we get some rhythm of? Actually, we have to probably you do that beatbox thing, right?
Come on, Bush, go.
I think it's "Rhythm of the Night." Gloria Estefan. That was one of Todd's favorite songs back in high school.
That's right. All right, guys.
All right. Question number 2.
Question number 2. Examples of switch are using an electric can opener, walking to get the mail, or C, using a dishwasher and remote control.
All right. Man, I tell you, Todd Nicholson is fast on the dial today. So, Todd, hey, you're up next. You got it again. Man, you're a smart little cookie tonight.
I'd say B again. I don't know how that happened out, but I'd say B.
Yes, boom. B is right. 2 for Todd. Who is going to unseat Todd? He is the rookie, and he is killing it tonight.
He's got the itch for the switch.
That's right. Nice. All right. Question number 3 from Chapter 7 is... the best way to increase your motion would be taking the elevator. Go and talk to a coworker versus texting them. Or is it C, sitting whenever possible?
Could Todd Nicholson go 3 for 3?
He could.
He is on the dial.
Say that again.
Get up off your butt and go talk to your coworker.
That's right. And B is the answer.
And this guy's gone pro.
I won't answer my own questions, so everybody else can.
So somebody else can tie for first at this point because Todd cannot play and answer the questions that he provided. All right. So on to question number 4. We're switching over to chapter number 8 at this point. Sleeplessness can cause, is it A, mental blurriness and irritability? Is it B, weight gain? Or C, both A and B?
Here, Mark goes up first. Mark, you're on the dial. He's not talking. Mark, are you off mute?
Unmuted now. All the above. Mental blurriness, irritability, weight gain, A and B.
A and B is the correct answer, Mr. Blankenspore.
Nice. Can Mark actually beat out Todd Nicholson? I think he has the capacity to do it.
Let's go.
I think he can. Yes, he can. All right. So, chapter number 8, question number 5. What does REM stand for? Oh, man, I just thought of a great answer.
That's a good one.
It would be the band from the 80s. Is it rapid eye movement? Is it really exciting movie? Or is it robust energy management?
All right, we get some people that are not putting the number in front of it, so I'm going to have to go back up and find number 5. First one on number 5, Claudia, curve away. She trumps Mark and gets in 1 ahead of him. Claudia and Richard.
Teamwork, rapid eye movement. and Richard's got some of that
Richard,
going on.
Can you see the rapid eye movement?
They're on Eastern time, so they're on the heads. They're definitely getting some lack of REM tonight, maybe.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. So we've got 1, Todd Nicholson with 3, and Mark with 1, and Claudia with 1.
Where's Team Blanchett at, Craig? Because these are all some friends of mine, so you better get your team going here and get them to study up.
I know. They're studied. They know these questions. They just want to let some other people get on the board tonight.
Oh, give me a break.
Come on, team. Get it together. Here's the answer to the next one.
I didn't participate.
Yeah, Martin can't play here. So this is question number 6 from chapter number 8. A great way to help you fall asleep is exercise vigorously for 30 minutes before bedtime. Is it take a hot bath and drink tea? Is it answer emails and post on Facebook in bed?
Mark Blankenspore, he gets the last chance to answer the question.
Give me some of that herbal tea and give me the hot bath. B.
Very nice. That is correct. Nicely done. Nicely done. Well, that concludes the game show portion of our session. So I do believe we have a rookie that has taken over the lead tonight. Is that true?
He entered in strong, that's for sure. He's coming up into the major leagues.
That's right. Well, let me introduce our first speaker for tonight. Make sure you guys, as the speakers are talking, if you have questions about any of the content of the game show, or if you have questions or comments that will come up when our speakers are given their presentations, make sure you write those down so that we can discuss those in the after show. So this is Martin Forbes, and Martin's he is a certified health coach. He's been working with Take Shape for Life for 3+ years. He's one of the coaches that's on my team, and he lost 65 pounds here, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more about his story. But there's a picture with him and Dr. Anderson. You guys probably heard of him. He's the gentleman that actually wrote the book we're reviewing. So I'm going to stop the screen share so we can see Martin and let him take it over. So welcome, Martin.
Yeah, thank you, guys. And it just occurred to me that was my moo shirt that I wore for the longest time. And yes, guys do wear shirts to cover up what they're not proud of. So about 4 years ago, I wasn't very happy, and I wasn't feeling very good. I just wasn't happy with myself, and I had kind of an out-of-body Ichabod Crane moment, shall we say. I went by the mirror after I got out of the bathroom, and I didn't recognize who I saw in the mirror. And that was kind of my epiphany as far as who was that person that I didn't have nice thoughts about. So I decided to go on a journey and really be healthy. And I was an athlete growing up, so I was still an athlete in my mind. So I thought, I could just exercise this 65 pounds off. It'll be a piece of cake. About a week later, with a hurt elbow, a hurt shoulder, and tweaked calves, I kind of realized I needed a little bit more help. And so I started looking a little bit deeper and came across this program. And 4 years later, the weight's been off. And it's not so much the weight that's been off, it's just actually what it's done for me from a mental standpoint and a health standpoint. That's just really been a dramatic change for myself. And so it's the, I guess what I was going to say is my brain thought I was an athlete and my body told me I wasn't. It had a slight disagreement. So, but
I know exactly how you feel, Martin. I was in the similar shoes or similar wheels.
Similar wheels. You lost a wheel, didn't you? But anyway, so I'm kind of glad I get to talk about habits of motion tonight because it fit in with what I tried to accomplish. And the initial thought with habits of motion in the book was, how many people, they always think this, you know what, I can get fit. I just need to change my diet and exercise. And that's really pretty cool for about 3 hours a week. But what are we going to do for the other 8 hours? And what I really liked about this chapter was it talked about how to just really increase our motion, the benefits of the motion, which reducing the risk of health or of chronic diseases and all of that fun stuff. But the other thing that just kind of stood out, and I just had this epiphany earlier, was the ripple effect that we have when we start adding our activity, whether it's through exercise or whether it's just through activity. And it's the ripple effect, or we call it the butterfly effect. We're going to start sleeping better. We're going to be happier. So we're going to deal with stress a little bit more. We're actually going to feel a little bit more fulfilled. And and that happens because we release these beautiful things called endorphins. And the endorphins, as they run through our brain, they tell us, you know what, you're doing awesome. You give me something a little bit more, and I'm going to help you fight something that's really bothering you. So the endorphins, and this is my little image that came to me, the endorphins go after those little stress-producing chemicals in our body that just aren't very healthy for us. So how many of here remember Pac-Man from the 80s? Remember the little guy chomping around? Well, that's actually our endorphins going around on the screen, chomping up all of the little stress-reduced chemicals that were being released. And so that's the great thing about the exercise. We're going to chomp up those bad chemicals that we've released. Well, that's only 3 hours out of 168. How are we going to take advantage of the other ones? And that's what was great about Dr. Anderson. With these simple 6 S's, we could increase activity or improve our activity in all the other areas of our lives. So now we can go from Mr. Pac-Man to Miss Pac-Man and start adding a few more activities that are going to chomp up all of those bad chemicals. So, and the one thing with the 6 S's, there's 50% of them are not only do they help us with our activity, but they help us reduce our stress.
That's great.
And then if you're going to play Miss Pac-Man, you need to stand up. Don't get the sit-down version.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Martin. That's great. So just a little clarification there. You went from normal Pac-Man to Mrs. Pac-Man, so you could chomp up more. Now tell us what you meant by that.
Okay, sorry. Let me connect that dot. So with the normal activity and exercise, we're just thinking of going to the gym. And so we're going to lift our weights and we're going to walk and we're going to run or whatever. So we're going to exercise 3 hours a week. Well, we have 165 hours that we can increase activity. So let's start implementing the 6 S's. Let's start, which are strolling, taking the stairs, going dancing, switching, using our less dominant hand. So by doing those little things, now we're increasing we're going to use start using up the 165 hours, getting those endorphins released, and start chumping up some more of those bad chemicals that are caused by stress.
Got it. Excellent.
And if you go for a stroll with someone you care about, think of the endorphins that you're releasing there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Martin. Excellent. Excellent. We're going to get into some discussion here. We're going to have I'm blanking on the name. Is it Todd? Yeah, Todd. We're going to have Todd go ahead and review the next chapter. I can't see anything.
Our top point winner ever in all-time CRAVE history. You can't remember his name. You're fired as host.
I know, it's terrible. All right, so why don't you introduce Todd? Let me pull up his photo here, and then we will. So this is the photo. Todd, yeah.
This is Todd Nicholson. He likes hiking and biking and going on long walks. No, this is Todd Nicholson. Todd's a physical therapist, certified health coach on our team. He's got a great story. I'm excited to have him come in. He's been fighting through some ailments, and we had to reposition his time so he can make it and join us tonight. But he's just he's one of the guys that you can just come to depend upon in your team. And he's always got a happy attitude. He was actually one of the largest team leaders in our last challenge. He had over 100 people on his challenge team. He's passionate. We just did a big community-wide event at his physical therapy clinic, and he had the whole room filled with community leaders. And he's on a drive to get America healthy, and I'm excited to have him share with you tonight. Todd, you're up.
Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, Craig, you just sent me a friend request on Facebook, so you better know my name. But,
I was hoping that was you.
Oh, he does that to everybody. Don't feel privileged. I'm kidding.
Thanks for the intro, David. I just love this program and what it's done for me. A good friend of mine from PT school talked to me about Take Shape for Life a few years ago, and I was reluctant to do anything with it. I didn't think I needed that in my clinic, and he was promoting it as something that I could adapt into my patient care and use it as something that my patients would enjoy. But I didn't think it was the right time for me. Well, about a year and a half ago, I stepped on the scale, and there was a number that I'd never seen before. It started with a 2, and I wasn't very happy about that. And so with that being said, I knew I needed to get healthier. And, I was supposedly a role model for my patients, that I was a healthy person, a health professional, and I wasn't healthy myself. So I got started with the program. I jumped right in. I became a coach right away, and I lost 33 pounds. And it really has changed my life in many ways. Of course, I feel better with my weight at an appropriate spot now. But it gave me an energy level that I hadn't had in a long time. The picture that was up on the screen was me and my senior daughter finishing a half marathon together this summer. I was a sprinter in high school and college. I thought distance runners were nuts, and I still kind of do. But I've become one. And so I guess I'm nuts. But it was a great experience, and something that I will treasure forever, being able to do that with her. So it has changed my life in many, many ways. And I couldn't be happier with what it's done for me personally. And then I've had the opportunity to help a whole bunch of other people get healthy. And my hope is that it just continues to grow, and that we continue to strive down that journey of optimal health that I've started myself. I know there's a reason for everything, and like David said, I've been struggling with some health things here the last couple of weeks, and I was supposed to do chapter 6, and that was what my assignment was, but I couldn't do that one, so I switched to tonight, and I get to do a chapter on sleep, which for me and for a lot of people, I think sleep is probably the one area of health that we overlook. Everybody knows that we need to get to a healthy weight. We need to exercise better, and we need to manage our stress and, the other areas of health. But I think sleep kind of gets pushed aside sometimes, and we forget about how important that is. Since we were a kid, our parents have talked to us about get to bed. You got to get your rest. You got to get your sleep. And so we know that. We've heard it since we were a child. And we hear it still now. Everybody knows that you're supposed to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Well, how many of us actually do those things, or is sleep one of those things that kind of gets pushed away and say, okay, well, I need to get this done, so let me stay up a little later and I'll get this done. Or I might get up a little earlier tomorrow morning, or whatever. We kind of cut into our sleep, and it becomes a problem. Sleeplessness is a major problem, and it leaves us tired. It leaves us relying on caffeine. We drink coffee in the morning. We may have to have a pop in the afternoon. 5-hour energy has become very popular. We may have to grab hold of one of those just to make it through the day, so we can function. There's a problem with that. Those are issues that we have to deal with. So, the chapter talked about what results are of getting too little sleep. Not only are we mentally blurry and crabby or irritable, like the question on the test was, but it can actually promote weight gain, which is kind of weird. But our appetite regulation is monitored, is maintained during sleep, and if we don't get that, then we can actually gain weight. There are other health problems that go along with it. We have heart disease. We have increased inflammation, which is a precursor to cancer. We're 50% more likely to get a virus. We can fend that off better if we get more sleep. So this time of year is horrible with all the viruses floating around. To get that sleep, and maybe that's better than toking all the vitamin C you can get a hold of. Just get enough rest. Dr. A calls sleep nature's nurse, and what he means by that is that we have the opportunity during the sleep time to repair all the things, all the damage that we've done to it during the day. Our bodies are too busy during the day functioning, trying to just go to work and manage our children and manage everything that we have to deal with during the day that's thrown at us. We don't have time. Our brain doesn't have time to rest and repair all the things it needs to repair. Sleep manages to do that for us. And so it's very, very, very important. Stabilizes our chemicals so we can keep our mood level. And it just refreshes our brain, basically. The REM part of sleep rapid eye movement is that deepest form of sleep, the deepest stage. It's very important. It's our dreaming time. It's when we get to the repair time. And so if we don't get enough of those REM cycles during the night, then we are going to end up seeing the results of failing health. Those are 90-minute cycles that we have to go through, and so getting 4 or 5 of those a night is very, very important. And how do we do that? How do we create that environment of healthy sleep, those habits of healthy sleep? Right away when you wake up in the morning, try not to hit that snooze 4 or 5 times. Get up, get out of bed, turn the lights on. If the sun is shining already, then get out in the sunlight and get the brain functioning so that you can get going right away. Avoid caffeine afternoon. Exercise regularly, just not after 6 p.m. at night, so your body can calm down a little bit. Avoid long naps. 5-minute power naps are okay, but just don't make them longer than that. If you require a long nap during the day, you're not getting enough sleep at night. So work on that. One thing I really have to work on, and one of my 3 takeaways that I have is setting a bedtime and sticking to it, not just during the week, but on the weekends. I think that the body gets into that habit, and if we break that habit, even if it's for one night, it will mess things up as far as our sleep pattern goes. So count back 7 or 8 hours from when you need to get up in the morning, and that should be your bedtime. And just do that every day. And that habit is a great one to set. And so that's one of my takeaways. Another thing is to avoid drinking too much liquid a couple hours before sleep, so you don't have to get up out of bed. And then one of my other takeaways that I fail at miserably is 30 minutes prior to sleep, no electronics. That means the TV's off, computer's off, cell phones are off, no Facebook, no emails, 30 minutes prior. And it's just, that's hard for me. I plug my phone in next to my bed so I can get texts in the morning. Why? I mean, I don't need to do that. Never had it a few years ago, but I do it now. And so with the screen time, with that electronic visual input, it keeps our brains awake, and it limits our sleep. So that's one thing that I preach to people, and I do a miserable job of actually carrying it out. melatonin is another thing that he talked about. That's our natural body's way to calm down and get to sleep. Sometimes there's a pill that we might have to take to help along with that, especially if we're on vacation or in an unfamiliar environment that might help us sleep. So that being said, hot tea, hot bath, relaxing music, reading a relaxing book, all help us get to sleep. And those are the things that I think are the key takeaways with this chapter. So.
That's great, Todd. And there's been a lot of comments that have been going through the Zoom chat message, and many people have been saying that your presentation just put them to sleep. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You probably did.
You did a great job, man. That was a lot of great tips. And you know, sometimes just having somebody else sharing their perspective on the information just brings back those things that you read. So I really appreciate the nice job you did and the thorough job. So thanks so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So yeah, I've got some. First of all, I've got some questions here that I want to go over with you guys. But I wanted to first of all say thanks for everybody that played in our costume contest. Carrie, there's so many of you guys. I mean, literally more than we've had in the past. Wade, great hat. Expected that from you for sure. Davey, nice with the moose head. Anyway, all you guys, nicely done. I see a lot of Christmas themes as well, which is great. So tonight I'm gonna let's see what Martin named off those 6 S's. I'd love you guys to unmute and give one, and we'll see if we can get all 6, and then we're gonna ask a few questions about those. Actually, but before we get into that, I'm going to stop the recording because we're going to basically move on into the discussion. And so let me get a big smile from everybody so I can post this on Facebook. Everybody give your best smile. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't work. Try it one more time here. All right, ready? All right. All right, guys. So for those of you that are watching this on the video, come in next time, bring a friend, and you'll get to participate in the top secret stuff we're about to talk about. See you, everybody.